Mm, Buffalo George, how are you tonight?
I'm fantastic. How about you, Buffalo brother John?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You know who else is doing good?
Who?
The Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills. I'm asking who? I know the Buffalo Bills.
Right, listen, they beat up on Tennessee. They beat up on Seattle. Those were two good games. Now, we didn't do a show last week, which is why I'm talking about both games.
John, I was mentioning it to you and the crowd here, in case you hadn't heard it. I was listening to an interview with Geno Smith, and he said there were so many vocal Buffalo Bill fans. He felt like many times he was the at the visitors. He was the visiting team.
Eh, the home of the 12th man and the home team is saying that it felt like an away game.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
that's how
Now,
well the Buffalo fans travel.
it didn't help that their team didn't play so good. It didn't help that the home team looked pretty bad. But listen,
Well, they had
our
a big
fans were
receiver
there.
out,
Yeah. DK Metcalf was out.
but you know what? The Bills have had a lot of injuries, and nobody's crying spilt milk when they lost those two games because they had so many injuries. You know, the other teams
Yeah.
didn't seem to care.
No,
And you got
they
it.
don't care.
You got to play good with what you got.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, we look at last year's playoff game. Buffalo's defense was decimated, and they lost to Kansas City, but it was a close game. But nobody cares. Nobody's giving the Buffalo any slack, saying, "Well, there were injuries." No, oh, they stink. They're this, they're that. No, no,
Yeah, I don't
no.
remember anybody saying they stink.
Well, I
But
think I
okay.
heard that. I don't.
Yeah. Okay. You gotta watch like when you're watching YouTube videos, you gotta be more selective.
I have to stay awake.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes it's all up here.
All right. So we did a pretty good job at home against Tennessee, which you'd expect. Tennessee is struggling this year.
Yeah, we beat them up pretty bad, and the defense just crushed that poor quarterback.
Yep. Yep. Well, Rudolph, right? Mason Rudolph.
And we had a brand new Cooper on our team.
Amari Cooper
Amari
was his
Cooper.
first game.
He was only on the team for like 4 or 5 days, and he had a great impact in that game.
Yes, he did.
He made a number of catches, including the touchdown. What else could you want?
More catches, more touchdowns, but they did great. They did great.
And it was another week that Josh had no turnovers.
Yep. Good for Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Good for Josh. Well, we're not halfway through the season because it's a 17 game season, but we're almost halfway there. And he's got one interception on the year. Uh, For a guy who has been known for turnovers and interceptions in particular, 2 years ago it was interceptions in the red zone. Last year it was 17 interceptions. He just led the league.
Yeah.
So yeah, good for him.
And um, Terrell Bernard and Taron Johnson came back for that game. They were healthy again. They played
Mhm.
and made a huge difference on the Buffalo Bills defense.
The juxtaposition of our defense with Bernard, what?
Juxtaposition. I wish I could spell that word, but I'm not, that
Don't say it if you can't spell
that's
it.
a college word. Oh, okay.
The difference between the Bills linebackers. Now I'm throwing Taron Johnson in that versus the Seattle linebackers,
Mm-hmm.
where they had a guy that they started. I mean, they traded for him and started him that week, and they have Terrell Dotson, who has been playing as their middle linebacker, but they traded for a middle linebacker, so they moved him to Will. The difference between the play of the linebacker course was crazy. It was all over that field. What a difference! The Seattle defense is not what it was in the years of did they call them the boom
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom? Yeah, yeah, they're a long way from that.
This is Legion of Bust right now.
No, geez, you're not kidding.
John, tell him the joke you told me about the 2/3 of the players in New York.
Oh,
I told my barber it was such a good joke.
I don't remember. 2/3 of the players of New York.
Football, 2/3 of the football
Oh,
players in New York.
2/3 of the football players in New York want to commit suicide. and the rest are Buffalo Bills.
The other third place for the Bills.
The, the other one I like was uh, the AFC East is like your mail. Once you take the Bills out, the rest is
The
junk.
rest is junk.
How's it going?
Throw it in the trash.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to give a if you remember, do you want to give a grade for the Tennessee game?
Sure, I thought the offense was an A, especially with the addition of Cooper. It changed the whole dynamics on that team. The Bills were able to run the ball. If you remember, uh, Ray Davis was in. Cook was injured that game,
Mm-hmm.
and Ray Davis he had about was 99 yards rushing and
Yeah,
and about 50 yards receiving.
Yeah, he had one big pass reception. Yeah, that really.
And all of a sudden, Keon Coleman became a player, and he caught some passes, including I think he got a touchdown that game.
You might have.
And Cooper certainly he got a touchdown that
yeah.
game, and it was just incredible. And
defense.
I would give them an A.
Sure, you got it. Yeah, you got it.
Two guys were back, and they made a huge difference. To Taron Johnson, that guy is a great player.
Well, they identified him at a young age, and they've now paid him twice. But he's gotten two after his rookie deal. He's been paid twice.
Yeah.
So yeah,
my problem with Terrell Bernard, because you can say he's a great player, but he just can't stay healthy. I don't know if it's because he's undersized or he plays so hard or whatever it is. His body just does not allow him to get a season in. He gets parts of season. He has to recuperate. He gets parts of seasons. He reminds me of Matt Milano. So he's a Milano clone.
Yeah,
in that way. And he is a good player, but if you can't stay healthy, being a good player then you're only good if you're good enough to be there when it really matters, like in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, and this is a team that has aspirations for a Super Bowl. You can't be dropping games throughout the season because then at the end of the season you make the playoffs, but you have a tough road.
Yeah.
That's
well, you look at Buffalo lost. They got two losses. One was to the Baltimore Ravens, and the other was to Houston. Houston, whatchamacallit, what's this? You know what I mean. And both teams then would have the seed. If it was a tie, they would be seeded over Buffalo because
they have the tiebreaker, right?
They have the tiebreaker.
So you didn't give a grade for your special teams, just B for the Titan game. You didn't give a grade for your
Is that the game that did Bass miss a field goal late in that game? It was just the ball went. Woo.
I believe he kicked the ball and
it just went. I don't know where he was kicking it. And if I remember right, the punter had some bad punts in that game as well.
Yeah, was.
I got to give that a maybe.
That was the home game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a D. I mean, you had both kickers having issues in that game.
All right, a little bit of grade for the what was after that Titan game, and then we just had the Seattle Seahawks on the road in Seattle.
Oh, you give me yours.
I say an A for the offense and A for the defense. I am giving the special teams a C. What can you say? Like some kicks are more important than others. They were blowing a team out. He missed a kick. It didn't affect anything, but it is probably what finally brought Bean to the reality that he had to get a kicker in, and now there's a kicker on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Nobody has said that I'm aware of that every week there's going to be a competition and the winner's going to play. Nobody said that because if they were to elevate the kicker, they would either have two kickers on the 53-man roster, or they would have to do something with Bass. And they don't want to do anything with Bass.
They would be better off.
They have a huge cap hit if they do.
Yeah, they'd be better off just going for 2-point conversions on every touchdown. And if you made half of them, that's the same as making all your extra points.
yeah, whatever. But so no one said anything about there's an open competition, but they did bring a guy in.
Hmm.
The only thing I know about this fellow, he played 9 games.
Hmm.
Uh, Apparently was not particularly outstanding. I think for the Rams,
Right.
and he has a record, some record for a long field goal in the SEC. And I'm not sure if it's the longest field goal in the Southeast Conference. It's in the 60s, like 60 yards, 60 plus yards, or some. There was something special about that kick. That's the only thing I know about it, and I don't obviously don't know that much.
Well, unless he can do it in Buffalo in the wind in December, it don't really make no difference.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's right.
How about this game, this last game? What did you think about the team against Seattle?
Yeah, I was pretty impressed
I was
overall.
too.
The one thing, like the previous week or 2 weeks ago, Seattle plays the Giants, and I was a little surprised that Seattle wasn't able to pull away from the Giants. That was a close game.
Hmm.
They did win, but it was a close game. The Giants had a chance right through most of the fourth quarter. And I was a little surprised. Now, watching them play the Bills, I begin to understand a little better. Their defense is not up to Seahawks standard.
I think the Seahawks right now are in a division where the other two good teams, which would be the Rams and the 49ers, are not playing all that well this year, and they're dealing with their own injuries. And so Seattle is looking a little better than they probably are. They
Yeah,
were four and
I don't
three
know.
going
I don't.
4-3 again going in against the Bills. They came out of it 4-4 because I didn't think they were that good of a team. I just think they were probably 4-3 because some of their competition is not as good.
I don't know if they played the Rams or Seahawks or the 49ers yet. I
Mhm.
have no idea. All right. Um, do you want to grade the Bills for the Seahawks game?
Sure,
What's the offense?
I got to give the offense an A.
Okay.
Again, Keon Coleman, that kid is just becoming a weapon. I mean, a real weapon. Shakir continues to be a weapon. Cooper was, we know he's got a wrist injury this week. I don't know if he was bothered by it last week. He only got one catch for like 3 yards. Otherwise, he did some blocking. He really wasn't involved in the game other than that. And so I don't know if he was injured last week or what the deal was. But the during the Bills' losses, we really talked about how bad the coaching was,
Okay.
and I got to give the coaches credit this last week. I think Joe Brady called a hell of a game,
Okay.
and he kept Josh Allen. And Josh, good for you. No Cabbage Head Award for you this week. He took what the Seahawks gave him. He he gave it to his playmakers. He would throw to the outlet pass to his running back. If somebody wasn't open down the field, he was able to get the ball to where Keon Coleman could catch it or at least have an opportunity to go up. He made a one-handed catch in the end zone, John, that I still can't believe they caught that ball and it was a touchdown. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So Coleman was a force. The running game was a force. Um, uh, Kincaid had a couple of good plays. Not Kincaid, I'm sorry, Knox. Kincaid did play well. Shakir played well. And the Bills, this last week, we saw a team that when they were losing, they were going 1st and 10, then it was 2nd and 12, then it was 3rd and 15, and then it was a punt or sack. This week, because of the penalties, it was 1st and 15 or 1st and 20. But then Josh overcame that, and it would be 2nd and 5 and a first down. That'd be 1st and 15. Then they'd get 2nd and 3, and then you'd get a first down. They were moving the ball on the early downs and compensating even for the penalties that they were receiving. It was incredible. And on the defensive side of the ball, they just shut things down.
Yeah.
They had no running game. Yes, you could say that
You didn't give
Seattle.
a grade.
Oh, sorry, A for the offense.
A for the offense.
And on the defense, yes, they did give up 300 yards passing to Geno Smith, but they couldn't run the ball. He had to throw, and they were behind the whole game. So it's not surprising to me that many he had to throw that many passes that he got himself 300 yards. What did they get? 10 points the whole game?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, and there was so much force on the Bills' defensive line that as Seattle will get into the red zone, once Geno Smith they hiked it over his head. There's a guy with the center was afraid of Daquan Jones coming in. He hiked it over, you know, Geno's head, who had to run back and try and fall on the ball. And another time, the center stepped on Geno's foot.
Yeah,
because Daquan Jones was coming right at him. And the Bills, especially their front four, really put the pressure on this time. So an A for them.
Okay.
And I'm going to give the special teams a B. I'd like to give them an A sometime, but again, I think they did their job and they punted better. And
Punting was actually better.
It was better. And the extra points and field goals, there were no misses, and he did a good job.
Okay. So I don't know. Is that an F? Did you say B?
A B.
B. Okay. I'm sorry. If you said that, I just missed it. Okay. All right. So I will say similarly, A on the offense. I think that Brady heard the feedback about how this team has not done well on the first couple of drives for a number of games in a row. In fact, a number of games this year. And he came out with a plan. It worked well. They had the two first drives, in fact, they brushed the ball downfield well. The second drive ended up with a field goal because they got, I think it was a penalty, put him in a bad spot. So that's great. So I actually give them an A. I give the defense, I will give the defense, I'm going to give them an A because, they went up against a weak offensive line. But I'm not going to say because you were playing a weak offensive line, that's why you did well and it gives you a lower grade. I'm not doing that because when we're injured, they still get what they get.
Yeah.
So how the other team is how the other team is. I can't control that. They got an A. And then on special teams, B. Look, it's time for Codrington. Like he showed some glimpses at the beginning of the season. It's time for him to get a return for a touchdown. It's time for him to be a difference maker again. I think he did have one good return in that Tennessee game, but
I'll be honest
for him to show that he's
I think
worth that pick.
I think in this last game, I think there were a couple of times he fair caught the punt, and he would have had time for a run back.
Well, and you're probably right, and I think that what we're seeing here is McDermott's philosophy. It's more important to get the possession than it is to get a return. And I have no problem with grading them down for that. Like if you're not trying, you can never give yourself an advantage there. You can't be in a close game and suddenly your defense holds the team to a punt, and boom, the game has changed because you got a run back. We had a punt or a kickoff run back against us. Forget which game this year. I would like to see something. They've got this new kickoff stuff. I don't know why our team seems to have more difficulty or seems to be having difficulty getting big kick returns.
Yeah.
Okay. But still a B. No major mistakes. Just I would like to see something that would allow me to give them an A. I will say this. So let me ask you a question. Do you feel that Ray Davis should be the number one running back? Should he start every game and should he be out there to go?
No.
Okay. You don't think? I sit in the room with you when he runs the ball and he sets a tone.
I love it.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Okay, but why do we have to wait for the third series for him to come in and do that? Why can't he come out and do that snap one, beginning of the game, set the tone early.
because Cook is playing very well.
Yeah, I'm not
Cook
criticizing
Cook
Cook.
has 3 years of experience. He lost his ball. Remember his first play of the game? He fumbled the ball in his first season, and it's beyond him now. He's a quality player who's really seeing the holes in the daylight. And Davis is a rookie. Let him enjoy his rookie season. Let's keep using him. Let him continue to be successful and gain confidence. And there's no reason to have to push him this year to be the starter. I think he will be our starter. I have serious doubts that they're going to re-sign a running back. Uh, Cook is what, on his third year?
Mhm.
So I got serious doubts that they're going to re-sign a running back for um big money. Next year's his last year. You might see a trade involving Cook next year where we can get somebody that we want, and Davis is going to be our starter.
Okay.
And
Do you
I'm thinking,
believe,
yeah, Cook might be that.
do you believe right here, right now, going
Mhm.
into game 9, Cook is a better running back?
Well, I have to because we haven't seen Davis
You
play
would
a
like to
whole
see
game
more.
except
You
once.
would like to see more. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm kind of thinking, look, I'm not criticizing Cook. What I'm saying is they got a gem in Davis.
Hmm.
And the idea that they can't use him because he's a rookie is absurd.
No.
Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Rookies play.
Yes.
And if you and I will and I've criticized them for not playing rookies. Where the hell is Bishop?
Hmm.
Why can't if the defensive philosophy and the defensive calls are so complicated that a rookie can't get into the game and make a difference, then it's too complicated.
Yeah.
They got, whenever a new coach comes in and the defense starts playing better, typically the defense is not playing well. That's why you change coach. New coach comes in, defense change. First thing they say, why are you playing better? Oh, it's so easy. It's easy. If it's so complicated that the rookie can't get in there and you can't use his talents, like DeMar Hamlin is a career backup. If Bishop isn't already as good as him, they made a mistake in where they drafted him. So I'm going to say that they didn't. They just got to get him in. We went a whole year watching Devin Singletary run the ball. Cook was sitting there.
Hmm.
He didn't get better between years 2 and 3. They just didn't use him.
Yeah.
They just loved Singletary. So if they can't spot talent and utilize it, that's a strike against the coaching staff. Um, if they really believe that he ain't ready, that's fine. But
Okay.
I feel like he's
I'm gonna
showing
agree.
he
I'm
can.
gonna agree with you in the fact that they used him in a game because Cook was out. And Cook came back in the next week, and Cook was by far the starting running back, and they only used Davis a few times.
Mhm.
And I would love to see them ramp up his touches a little more. Davis.
I hear you.
But I don't think he should say, okay, Cook, go sit down on the bench. He didn't do anything wrong. He's playing extremely well. So
Well,
I'd say ramp him up a little bit.
and I'm saying Davis is maybe better, and I think he might be better. Like he came in this game, and boom, you saw a difference between what Cook was able to do and what Davis did.
Mm.
He ran right up the middle. He ran over people. He found yardage. Cook does not find yardage.
No.
It's either there and he gets it. He can make a guy miss, but if he can't, he don't find yardage. Davis can, but that's
I'm surprised they're not using him more on like a third down where they want somebody that's just got to plow forward because he can do that. But we're not seeing him do that. I see him still bring in Ty Johnson, not
yeah,
to run the ball, but
the block.
just
The
a
block.
block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, and maybe one of the things that's holding him back a bit, if you're going to have him have more snaps, maybe he doesn't block well. Like sometimes the running back has to stay in and block, and maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know, but there is a difference when he is running the ball. And that doesn't take away from what Cook can do,
Hmm.
but it's different and it's better.
Hmm.
So why the fucker?
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. I'd like to see him get
Yeah,
more play, ramp him up. But I wouldn't say just throw him in whole hat here. But there are
he's been
some.
playing football since he was what, 12? It's fine. You know,
Okay.
what's he got to ramp up?
Yeah, you got a point. Well, this is the
As
NFL.
they had to ramp up, and it took 3 years.
Yeah.
He don't need no 3 years to ramp up. He's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Cadillac. Get him out there. Now, Keon Coleman, I would be very complimentary. He's he's had 2 good games, 2 games where he's shown something. This most recent game, he looked really. He was a big part of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
The game before that, he made a couple of good plays, a couple of great plays, um, and hopefully he'll continue to do that as the season progresses. You can't forget that he didn't make great plays against Baltimore. Yeah, he's got to learn how to do that kind of stuff against good teams. But it was I thought it was great that he made plays against a good cornerback. Even if Seattle's defense isn't good, he was matched up against a good cornerback, or at least the guy who's supposed to be a good cornerback, and he held his own. So I'm encouraged, but you got to see more, and you got to see more, and you got to see consistency. I want to see 4 to 6 catches every week, and I want to see a play every week.
Okay. Well, I'm with you. I'd like to
You
see
know,
him more.
he's only a rookie though, so he may have bad games coming ahead, but
John, let's address the elephant in the room. We've talked about how well the play. Yeah, he's
is that Millie here?
yeah. They remember how now you caught me on that. The
We had an Aunt Millie. She's a little big.
nicest lady.
Nice sweetheart.
Yeah,
Sweetheart.
yeah.
Made cookies. Good cookies.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. Made big cookies. I forgot what we. Oh,
There's an elephant in the room.
oh, the elephant that's in the room. As much as we love how the Bills have played the last couple of weeks and how the coaching has improved, what's going on with these penalties? Last week alone, the last count I had was the Bills had 14 penalties. Now they may have had more. I don't know. Plus, I'm not counting the penalties that got offset.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about,
Or weren't accepted. Yeah.
yeah, or that weren't accepted. Just like 14 penalties or more that we actually had to get penalty yards taken away. Uh, and it was well over 110 yards or 120 yards.
It's way too much. Yeah.
And some of them, John, there was like 2 or 3 false starts.
Pre-snap penalties. Yeah.
3 different guys on the offensive line, holding calls on running plays. I can understand holding calls. I can't understand them. I see that they certainly happen when you got a strong pass rush coming, and they certainly happen on running plays. But this team is good blocking for running plays. Why are we having like 3 to 4 holding penalties a game on running plays? It's just crazy to me. Absolutely crazy.
I don't have an answer for that.
It would give me 1st and 10, then it was 1st and 20 because of a holding play, or 1st and 10, then it was 1st and 15 from false starts.
Spencer Brown still has mental issues.
It's got
Well, I mean, just mentally, he makes errors that are
maybe
that are
that's the elephant in the room. He's a big guy.
the fella Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm beginning to understand. Look, he's fine, but he is not great.
Mm-hmm.
But he's fine. But again, there's a level of skill issue here where sometimes he just can't overcome his lack of skill. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic, but there's a lack of skill there. There's a lack of skill at tackle, right tackle. Sometimes he can't overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
And the jury is out on Torrance, but I like what I see so far. But he's still got plays that you would say, oh, he's a rookie.
I wouldn't say if Torrance has played like a Pro Bowler yet, that's
No,
for sure.
no.
But I think he's played better than everybody else on that line except for maybe Dawkins.
Torrance, yeah, he's been well. Torrance, Dawkins is a pass defender.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably a top 8 offensive tackle, and like
Mm-hmm.
maybe top 10, but he's right in that range. As a run blocker, especially where they pull him,
Mm-hmm.
he's really one of the best.
Yeah.
Maybe the best pulling
Yeah.
tackle for running. So, and it's part of that is because very few tackles get pulled. Like it's really you normally pull guards and centers.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been pulling their tackles. They started this actually. The guy before Brady started
Yeah.
that. Those a lot of times those plays are called Toledo tackle pull or Toledo plays. Um, Deion Dawkins is very good at that. So I don't know. Maybe he's certainly a top 10 overall. Maybe he's one of the better running tackles if you because of all the pulling. But he is certainly their best offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the other day a guy talking about this is the best offensive line the Bills have had with Josh Allen. And I don't think there's any question about that. I think that's absolutely true. It doesn't mean that they're top 5. It means
No,
that
right,
they're top 15.
right.
In a league of 32, they're in the top 15, probably between 15 and 12, but we'll say between 10 and 15.
You know, if you judge them against the Baltimore Ravens, they're one of the worst offensive lines that I think I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. There's
But against the rest of the teams that they've played, they've been pretty darn good.
no. Well, here's the team is scoring points, but Allen having to run for his life but making a play is not the offensive line doing well.
Well,
And that happens still way too much.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it doesn't happen as much, or maybe it's just a case that he's smarter and he's finally listening and playing with his brain and saying, listen, just dump it off to the open guy. Positive yardage is positive. Interception is bad. And he's playing better. He's playing smarter.
Here's what I'll say.
He's not extending the play so much that they get themselves in trouble.
Here's what I'll say. One, he still has under pressure. I think he was top 8 for his quarterbacks under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on the bad side where he's getting pressure. Not the most pressured, but in the top 8. But he's able to, because of his ability, he's able to still sometimes make a play out of it, whether he runs or passes. With that said, he really seems coachable. Like he doesn't seem like a guy who's got an ego and is going to worried about his stats. Just wants to do what he wants to do. So when he doesn't throw to the guy that you want to throw to, I'm putting not all of it, but a lot of it on the offense coordinator. The guy designs the plays and calls the plays. If he's calling a play for somebody downfield, that's what he's calling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Allen's going to try to complete to.
Mm-hmm.
We saw years where he has not looked at guys in the flat. Game after game, play after play. Now suddenly he's using them. I think he needed an offensive coordinator to tell him to do that. And they didn't. Like, I don't think they both told him that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other kid was here he continued Daboll's offense. So Brady now has a different philosophy and seems to buy in and he's eminently trainable right now. Maybe in 5 more years he'll be stubborn, but right now he's trainable. If you don't like his choices as to where he's throwing the ball, I would go back to he's following the progressions that the offensive coordinator created. And if the progression is to throw it here and then there, and then run like hell, that's what he's doing. He's never throwing it over here to the guy in flat because it's not a progression.
All right. So now the Bills for the game coming up. Buffalo lost to Baltimore and to Houston, two teams that would be ahead of them in the seeding
Seeding for playoffs?
playoffs.
Okay.
I know we're only
Because
halfway
we're
through
not in
the
the same
season,
division.
right? But seeding for the playoffs, and Baltimore lost, and now Houston lost on Thursday. So if Buffalo beats Miami, Buffalo's back up to the number 2 seed.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
And the destiny can be in their hands, in their court. That's,
Aren't they in the second seed now?
no,
Don't with only two losses, does the Baltimore have three losses?
yes.
So they're in the second seed now.
Well, I'm not sure where Pittsburgh is
What does Pittsburgh have to do with Baltimore?
because Pittsburgh might have the second seed.
Oh, you think that? Okay. Oh, I'm
Maybe
sorry.
Pittsburgh's only got two
Well,
losses.
yeah. Okay. But then, okay, I got you. So if Buffalo wins this week, you said they would have the two seed.
Well, I'm not
Well, then
sure.
they must have it now.
No, well,
Nobody else has lost.
they
Houston has lost. Is that what you
Houston
mean?
lost. So
Okay.
so Buffalo could have it now, but I don't know where they would go up against Pittsburgh at this point.
I understand. You don't know what the tiebreaker is with
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's too soon. Like one of the tiebreakers is your AFC
And
record,
and
which
Buffalo's
is
going to have an opportunity to play Kansas City, and they can gain that gain a game back against Kansas City, who's still undefeated.
mhm.
So the Bills still have an opportunity here to complete a hell of a season and maybe go for that top seed.
Okay. Now, after the Bills had played three games, people were pretty high on this team.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you said something. How are you going to stop this offense?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to stop this? Like everybody eats. How are you going to stop this offense? Well, they're looking pretty high right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully there won't be something come along to bring back down to earth. And this is real and not a bit of an illusion.
Well, I
Because it's
know how
only
you
played.
stop this team. It's easy. It's just you knock Josh Allen out of it. And, you know,
Well, teams have stopped.
Miami would love nothing more than doing that.
Teams
Chris
that
Jones is going to be gunning for him, like
Baltimore beat the
Kansas
hell
said.
out of Buffalo. They didn't knock Josh Allen out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's other ways to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Houston beat Buffalo. They didn't knock Josh Allen out. So there's other ways to do it.
Well, Kansas City's got that Chris Jones.
Mhm.
He's going to be coming for him.
He's a player.
That's 2 games away. But let's not worry about that yet. We got Buffalo and Miami, and Miami is going to do everything they possibly can to save their season. And the
Mhm.
only way to save their season is they must go to Buffalo and win this game. And John, I don't think Miami's good enough right now to do it.
I hope not. Listen,
I know Tua's
yeah.
back, and I know he's got his receivers, but I don't think they're strong enough defensively. And I got a question about Amari Cooper. I sure love to see him on the field. I know he's had limited practice, but I don't know if he's going to be in that game.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, the Jets and Miami, it looks like they are two teams that to make the playoffs will have to compete for a wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Buffalo has a significant lead right now. The Jets went into the game last night saying straight up, we got to save our season, and they did find a way to win.
They've won.
They found a way to win. Their defense played really well. Houston was hampered with missing two of the wide receivers, and they found a way to win. Miami's got to do that this week. It's unfortunate that's so early in the season, but I think they only got two wins.
Mm-hmm.
Two is back, and that's fantastic for them. But are they 2-5?
Yeah.
It's tough. They're in a tough spot. There's nobody, very few teams put on an 8 game.
I don't know if they're
streak.
2-5 or if they're. I know they're not 3-4.
Okay, well,
No,
let's see.
I don't think so.
Let's see real quick here. And I can't spell DOLP. I according to this, they're 11-6. So apparently, I got the wrong year.
Yeah, just click on the drop down arrow.
There we go. All right. The Dolphins are 2-5. Yeah.
They are 2-5.
So it's a tough spot to be in. With
So the
7
Jets
games.
are 3-4.
That's what that says.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't. I didn't get rid of it. They're 3-6.
3-6.
Yeah, six.
And
Yeah,
the
they
Dolphins want to go
3-6.
3-6.
Try and keep pace. I mean, they're really not even competing. They're competing with each other, but also they're competing with either Pittsburgh or Baltimore, and they're competing with Cincinnati, and they're competing with the Chargers for one of three wildcard spots. We are hoping that at the end of the season, the Bills are not competing for a wildcard spot, right? We're hoping
Right.
that they got a division title in their hands at the end of the season. So that would be 5 in a row. That would be fantastic.
Speaking of that,
Mhm.
we both picked what we thought the team was going to finish
Mhm.
at the beginning of the season. Now
Mhm.
we're halfway through. I had said the Bills were going to have 11 wins, be
Yeah,
11 and
they're kind of
6.
on track for that.
They're still on track for that. And now I have to ask myself, am I ready to ramp that up? Or do I see maybe I need to pull that back a little?
Okay.
Do I think the Bills can go 12-5? And I do, John. I think they can go 12-5.
Okay. Well, they got 2 losses now.
Well, right now they're six
I
and two. 6-2.
I see
So that
perfectly.
means the rest of the games, they got 9 games. That means they'd have to be 6-3 the rest of the way. For them to have 11 wins, they'd be 5-4. They'd be playing basically 500 football.
Okay. Well, we hope that they don't play worse than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen them play worse than that this year.
I think that they got a shot to get 11 or 12 wins. How about you? Are you ready to adjust yours? Do you remember what
I
yours was?
thought, yeah, I said 9-8.
Mm-hmm.
I thought at this point they're 8 games into the season. I thought they'd be 4-4.
All right. So if they're going to be 9-8 and they got 6 wins, that means they would be going 3-6 the rest of the way.
That's right.
But do you see them as 6 losses at this point?
Well, they still have to. Well, we're going to play the Dolphins this week, and then they got to go to the Colts. They have to play the Chiefs. They got to play the 49ers. They get that. Well, the Chiefs and the 49ers, they play them at home. They got to go out west to play the Rams, and then they've also got to play the Lions. They got 2 games against the Patriots, and they got to play the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it really comes down to I could certainly see this team losing to the Chiefs, to the 49ers, and the Lions. That's 3.
Mm-hmm.
So they're halfway to the 6. They have to not split with the Jets and not split with the Dolphins, and they got to beat the Patriots twice. It's still possible they're 9-8.
So you're ready. You're going to stick there.
I
I,
might go to 10 now, but
Okay.
they got a reasonable chance at 10.
I honestly don't think that they're going to lose to the Chiefs.
Well, we got a couple weeks for that.
And
Yet, so
I don't think they're going to lose to the Rams
yeah, well, I didn't either.
um, or the 49ers.
Okay.
But I definitely think they
They
could
have those
lose
games
to,
at
I
home.
definitely think they can lose to the
It
Lions.
really helps that they have those games at home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. And it'd be good too. Like if you're in Buffalo and UFC tickets, you can get tickets to those games. Those would be good games. It'll be fun games to go to.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could go to the 49ers. Just been a long time since they played
All right. So
in Buffalo.
are you ready to ramp up to a 10-win season and I'm going to ramp up to a 12? Or are you just saying you think there's a possibility?
There's a possibility that they could win 10. Sure. They could do better. But it's tough. They beat up bad teams. And they looked really good doing it. Gonna play Miami. I don't know. Yeah. I thought come after the first 3 games they would be 2-1, and that the 3 games down the road I thought they would probably win only one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. And then they would beat the Titans. Oh, actually, no. I thought they would be through 2-1, and then the 3 games down the road I thought they could win 2 out of 3, and then beat the Titans. But I didn't. I did not expect them to beat the Seahawks on the road. That's a good win for them.
I tell
That's
you
a
what,
good win for them.
I'm looking at them like I'm looking at the defense, I'm sorry, the Bills' offense against the other team's defenses. And the only defense that I see that I think at this point, without other injuries or anything, of course, is I think that Detroit can beat them. They got that edge rusher, uh, Atchison or whatever his name is,
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson, and I think they're a solid defensive team.
No, I think Bosa over in San Francisco will give that offensive line fits.
Mhm.
I think Kansas City, you got the tackle. Plus, with those two teams, they played each other so much. They kind of know each other.
Yeah.
If anything,
And Kansas City is going to be looking for revenge for the regular season game where they lost in Buffalo. Remember the guy lined up with his foot on the
right,
line?
they
So,
effectively had the game won.
yeah, they had the game won. That's true. They came back and won in the playoffs, but we were without our defense. I think we're going to see, I think you're going to see the Bills actually have a,
We have time. We don't have to make all the decisions because we don't know what injury. Like we've had a rash of injuries.
I'm saying I think Buffalo is better than we were hoping they would be.
I have been impressed with the effectiveness of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's been more effective with these recycled safeties. It's been more effective than I thought it would be. And then they overcame the injury to Terrence Johnson and the injury to Bernard without losing game after game.
Yeah.
So it's been more effective than I thought it would be. Um, but they feast on bad opponents.
You know what the most important thing is?
Availability.
No,
Sure.
enjoy the game.
Yeah, enjoy the game, guys. Don't everybody squish the fish.
Hope you had a good Halloween. Let's have a strong November and finish it out with a wonderful Thanksgiving. So let's start November off with a win.
All right. Go Bills.
Go Bills!